Uh, all right. I guess we're live. Okay. Uh, Going live, second time. Tried Twitch, just trying everything, trying a little bit of everything. Trying YouTube right now. I know I'm gonna eventually try a service where I can go live on multiple platforms at the same time. Just trying to get a feel for what do I actually want to be doing. So right now, streaming to no one. We'll see. We'll see how that. We'll see how that picks up over time. Just looking at videos of me on my channel. I gotta clean some things up if I'm gonna be putting myself out there. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is I just gotta make sure that whatever I'm putting out there is honest, and you know, let's change that. Great. Okay. All right. So what am I working on now? I am working on sharing some information from a client. So trying to get their hosting. Let me just make myself bigger. Figuring this out on the fly. Trying to do too many things at once, talk and do this. So we are transferring their host from where they are now to over to us, and hosting is it's obviously necessary and it's super important. It can really be something that it shouldn't be that big of a deal for your website. Like, there's so many good hosts, but it is something where if you screw it up, it ruins it ruins so much. It can really tank your site speed. It can tank if you're on a shared hosting plan, and if you have a bunch of domains on there, someone gets on with and starts just doing spam emails. I've read that the powers that be, Amazon, Microsoft, all those, the people who kind of control the traffic flow of emails, they can just not just hit a website and blacklist a domain, but they could just nuke the shared hosting server wherever the domain is. So shared hosting, it's going to have its inherent risks. So hosting is super important. But I mean, that's just technical stuff. And honestly, getting the technical stuff it's honestly pretty easy compared to one of the hardest things in business, which is finding leads. I wonder what the pantheon of that would be, of the hardest things in business. Finding leads, making the right hire. I feel like making your clients happy and doing good work is just not as hard as finding the leads and finding the right people. I'm curious about that. If we were going to make a Mount Rushmore of the hardest things to do in business, what would be on there? Yeah, for me, I think it's going to be the top two is definitely finding the right people and finding the right leads. Maybe scaling. A lot of people have trouble with that. I know I've been having my struggles with that as well, and I think that is in a very important inflection point. Like, the very first scale that a business goes through, that growth period can make or break them. And I guess, like, if you get past that point, like, okay, you're still in the game, but there's always going to be something that can take you out, which is, that's scary. Oh man, we do not do easy things running a business. Cool. Just making sure that I'm actually scaled up correctly on this OBS. Learning as I go. Okay. Let me go ahead and take care of this. But yeah, this would be the kind of thing that'd be kind of fun to talk about with a chat. But I'm going to keep making these lives and talking, putting myself out there, and creating this content. Hopefully, I'll make something that's worthwhile. Hopefully, my editor, between her and an Opus clip, we can find something of value, some kind of nugget that's worth sharing on here. Putting myself out there, I guess the strategy is going to be, just putting out the shorts on TikTok and YouTube, Instagram, and getting attention. And that's what I think everyone should be doing. I mean, there's so much content out there. I mean, it's so easy just to flip through. Like, if I'm on YouTube specifically, I mean, just like, you can just keep going. I mean, there's no shortage. You can't have too much, and you're never going to have enough content for YouTube Shorts. So put yourself out there, and who cares? My lighting isn't great. I'm having to shoot this at night after the workday, and my camera's in front of a dark window, so I'm gonna have to get a lighting setup here. And okay, yeah, it's not looking great. It's probably not sounding great, but these are things that maybe we fix it in the edit. Maybe we get AI to work on the lighting, work on the audio. But you know what? The main thing is just to get out there and do it. So the first live, it's not going to be great. You're not going to have anyone watching. Maybe even the first 5 lives. I don't know, maybe even the first 10. But I do believe that as you are creating content and putting it out there, and if you're being honest, you're going to find people who agree with you, agree with what you have to say, and are interested in what you have to say. And it can take a while to find those people. But man, there are people out there, even with the dumbest opinions, who are putting themselves out there and they're getting a following. So you don't have to be smart. You don't have to be good. Just go be honest. Put yourself out there. Because honestly, I'm not saying everyone should, but everyone does have a unique point of view, unique perspective. Everyone is different. Everyone has their own set of challenges and lessons that they've gone through. And you have a unique voice, a unique perspective, and people should hear it. And honestly, people should listen to you. I don't care what you look like, what you sound like, what you believe. And that can get very annoying. Very annoying when you say things that I don't agree with, but you know what? You should be saying them. The world isn't supposed to be built and operate with just one point of view in anything. That's not how it works. That's not nature. That's not how any of this works. And I'm just going to keep putting myself out there and saying things, and I'll find my voice, my perspective, my point of view. There are things that I believe, and whether it's religious, political, business. I have a unique point of view. I'll say this, that I'm an Enneagram 9. I want everyone to be good and okay. I want people to be happy. If you haven't looked into the Enneagram, it's just another one of those personality tests that you can, easily, you can Google it. You can find all kinds of things about it. I wonder, should I do display capture, but I could have myself big. That might look weird. Oops. I could make this small. Oh, it can see my whole screen. I'm an ultra wide monitor using ChatGPT to kind of figure some things out. I don't know. It's going to keep the aspect ratio. I don't know if that's helpful. I'm going to hide it for now. I can always bring it back up if I feel like it. Okay, let's see. So what I'm trying to do is get trying to get this site from Hostinger to SiteGround. We go to websites, we go to manage, look for FTP accounts. I'm not seeing it. Websites. Well, there's migrate website, but I think that's, hey, here's how you migrate to Hostinger. That's not what we want. Man, this mouse is killing me. Okay, so FTP account. Okay, so I got the FTP, all of this stuff. The FTP IP. Let's copy that. FTP username. Oh my gosh. Why is it going to be like that? Okay, I'm going to have to do this over Discord. Here we go. Yeah, I use Discord to talk to my team. Like I said before, I am a gamer. I've been a gamer for most of my life. And so I've gotten very comfortable using Discord to do chats and communications. And even though I'm kind of like taking a step back away from gaming, I don't know. Kind of feeling like there's still going to be some things about it where it's going to be hard to like kind of get rid of everything about gaming. I don't know. Does that make it an addiction? It's something that's been with me for 34 years. Something been with you for that long. How do you just up and get rid of it? How do you just up and get rid of it like it's nothing? All right, now Okay. Hopefully that did it. Okay, cool. I just gave all the FTP information to my developer. She's saying that's what she needs, so should be good to go. Yeah, I have a massive website to move over, and it's like I said at the beginning, it hosting is super important, and for this website, it was built by someone who it is just so frustrating. It is murder trying to work on it in the back end, and if anyone used WordPress should be making things easy, right? WordPress should not be that difficult, and yet working on this website, it is. Oh man, you find your little text box, you click, you wait, you click on, you go to edit, you wait, you type in some things, you wait for the cursor to catch up. It's just like, oh, it's murder. So we're trying to fix all that, migrate their hosting to a new environment, slowly rebuilding the site, painfully rebuilding the site. And that's just kind of how it has to go, because we're busy working on other things, working on their content, their emails. Actually, was on a call with them earlier with some people who, man, it is just, sometimes in marketing you talk to people and they say things where you're thinking either you are just an outright scammer, just lying right through your teeth with no care in the world, or I'm the idiot. Because they're saying things where I'm like, I've never heard of that. I've never heard of these things. But then they come up with like, yeah, I know this because Microsoft talked to our company specifically. And I know a guy. I know the guy. And especially with this company, it's about emails and email deliverability and how often you should be sending emails and all that kind of stuff. And I've been Googling it, but trying to fact check him. I have a whole AI transcript of everything he said. And it is baffling, the kinds of things he's saying to my client about email deliverability. And I just had to tell him like, hey, none of this feels right. Like what he's saying, like I know a guy at Microsoft, and they tell us what's really going down. It's like, no, he's not, man. No, he's not. That's not there. The reality of it is that there's so many amazing email deliverability solutions, and there's things you can do to kind of check your domain health and make sure that everything's working well. And they're all the tools are relatively the same. No one has the secret sauce, right? They just all work a little different. So if you're out there and you're working on emails, for example, just find something that makes sense to you. Right? And unless if it's, do some Googling, ask ChatGPT, and if there is something glaringly bad with that service, you will find it. You're going to find some Reddit thread, you're going to find something that tips you off as, okay, this is just not a good company to work with. But otherwise, they're pretty much all the same, and it comes down to you and your execution. It comes down to your work ethic and your strategy. So don't let other people fool you with, I know the answers. I talked to the people in charge and I got it all figured out. No one has it all figured out. Guarantee you that. A lot of the marketing stuff is just inherently a black box. Not, obviously like ranking on Google, ranking well, search engine optimization. We're not going to be able to see exactly what needs to happen to rank perfectly there every time, right? That's part of it. But a lot of marketing is also super subjective. What one company thinks is an amazing idea, the public might take a look at it and say, this is the worst, this is the dumbest idea in the world. Why would you people do this? I mean, there's so many things coming out recently about like, this marketing, this product, this anything, it's a dog whistle, this is racist, right? And that's going through the hands of people. Either they are okay with it and they're trying to do that and they're trying to subtly position themselves to align with people who believe a certain way, or they just think, yeah, this looks great. And then it hits the market and they're like, oh, whoops. But then when they don't apologize for it, it doesn't really feel like a whoops, does it? So I don't really have a super strong opinion about that. I've seen I saw the Taylor Swift necklace with the lightning bolts and the cross and everything, and people were trying to say it was like the SS and the Iron Cross. I don't know. It doesn't feel like that to me. The Good Genes campaign, on the other hand, like, I see what you guys are saying. That's not feeling great. That's not feeling great to look at. I feel like it's easy to get so I feel like it's just hitting recording on my actual OBS. Hopefully YouTube has been recording this. We'll see. Oh man, I'm gonna be annoyed if it didn't actually record. Maybe I'll just repeat myself. I know I'm not getting on anyone's nerves here live. That's for sure. And I just totally knocked out what I was thinking. I was just talking about like my opinion of some of these marketing campaigns that have come out, like Taylor Swift's necklace, and I feel like things have been so divisive lately, and I don't know, for decades. I think we're all on edge and have been on edge, and it's like we're in the parasympathetic, the sympathetic, the fight or flight. Fight or flight is sympathetic. Okay, so it's like we're kind of like stuck in the sympathetic nervous system. And we've been that way for a while. And we've been like just conditioned for stress and trauma. And so we're just on the defense, just looking out for things. And when things do happen, that's like a validation of like, hey, I knew it. I knew I needed to be on it. I needed to be on guard, because someone's always trying to take advantage of me. Someone's always trying to slip something through. But also there's going to be times where that's not actually what's happening, but we see it because as humans, we are really good at finding patterns. What's that called? When you find patterns, it has a name. Find patterns in things that aren't there. Epiphania? Pareidolia. The tendency to see patterns is known as apophenia, while the specific instance of seeing familiar patterns, like faces, is pareidolia. So, okay. So then you could say, like, okay, well, that was pareidolia. Maybe the Taylor Swift necklace is pareidolia. Seeing that, hey, there's a dog whistle here. Maybe. It didn't look like a German cross to me. It just doesn't. and there's 12 lightning bolts, not 8, and just like that kind of a easy, cheap like pattern for what a lightning bolt is. I mean, that's pretty common, isn't it? So I don't know. It's that looks like pareidolia to me. But then there's always that push and pull of, okay, well, what about the next time that something happens and it isn't? It isn't. Are we going to blame everything on apophenia? And I think that's where we as a people are kind of like struggling and kind of trying to balance, is trying to be on the lookout for things that are real. But it's trying to figure out what is real. And now with AI, there's so much debate over, if there's not already, then there's definitely going to be what is real. I mean, people are already in knockout, dragout fights over what is real news. So what is really happening? Where's the real threat? Who's actually saying the real things that we need to be concerned about? And I think where there's chaos, there's opportunity. Where there's trauma, where there is pain, there is opportunity for exploitation. And I think that's what we need to be on guard against. Who's being exploited? Because it always comes down to one of two things. It's money or power, and one leads to the other. Why do you want power? To have more money. Why do you want more money? To have more power, right? They just kind of lead to the same thing. It's that greater influence. Because even, hey, I'm doing this to get attention. Well, with attention comes money or power, right? And when you break it down, I mean, that is a truth, just a very foundational truth of what marketing is. Where there is attention, there's money and power. If I can bring that attention to a roofing company, then that's powerful. If ABC Roofing Company is the one that you think about next time you have a hailstorm, then you're going to give them your money to take care of your problem. And yeah, I think there's nothing like inherently evil about that. So it's like, yeah, I'm trying to get attention for my clients, but it's to help people. It's to help the person with the banged up roof trying to find a roofing company that's actually going to take care of them. Then it's helping the roofing company that does good work and has good people. They just have an awareness problem. So I come in and help them. So I'm helping them participate in this cycle of get attention to get money and power. But then you have people who participate in that, but what they're doing to get attention, they're hurting people sometimes, playing a prank on someone and then posting it on social media. They're trolling them, getting in their face, trying to instigate a fight. And then just trying to turn it around on the person, like, hey, you're the one who's out of pocket. And I think that's I think sometimes it's very obvious. Like, it's obvious what kind of person this is. But obviously it's not always obvious. Because we are arguing with each other all the time on social media about what is a real threat. Because usually we can agree on what is a threat. Exploiting people, it's bad. Hurting people is bad. But what about hurting people who are hurting people? And then we get into the argument of like, well, it's okay to hurt person A because they're hurting person B. And then you can get into this whole argument of like, well, we're not really hurting person A. It's like, oh, and then other people can say, well, we are hurting person A, but they're not really hurting person B. So hurting person A is just wrong. And then you can just get so tied up in what is actually happening. And then someone spreads a rumor, someone says something ridiculous online, says some kind of fact that can be easily disproven, but they just say it anyway. And it just catches. And then, man, do I need another haircut? Jesus. Kind of going off on a tangent, but like shaping attention is something that people going after money and power do. And as a marketer, I am part of that process, but I'm trying to be ethical about it. It is easy to do this unethically. It is easy to work for people with money who are willing to pay you to do it unethically. And I think it's easy to go along with what you're seeing that doesn't feel right with you, but you're in a community that thinks that it is right. So you kind of silence what you believe and tacitly support what's going on. And that's that happens for a lot of different reasons and a lot of different issues. And I think if you're a marketer, you're any kind of business, I've been doing this 13 years, and there are always going to be opportunities on whether or not that you choose to participate in that or not. Sometimes, it's just allowing it to happen, seeing things, and you're like, hey, actually, that's not quite right. Let's not say that. Let's not do things that way. Let's kind of taking advantage of people. I think I've gotten pretty good now to work with people who hold on, I need to send this message. Okay. I think I've gotten pretty good now after 13 years of being able to just work with people who are good integrity, finding them. Fortunately, that is, in my experience, that is the majority of business owners. Most business owners are just trying to do the right thing. They're just trying to take care of themselves and their family. They're like me. They can't work for someone else. They can't be a good employee. So they go and they do something on their own, and they found something that they're pretty good at, and they're just trying to make it work. And then now they have some employees, and they're doing their best to take care of them. And for the most part, they're really solid, good people. It's kind of hard to be a business owner and not have some level of empathy, which is kind of weird. I know that there are a group of people that people are quick to say, like, hey, business people, they're greedy, they're just here to take advantage and push down on the lowest of the low and take advantage. Capitalism is just it's exploitation. It's at its core, it's an arbitrage of labor, so therefore someone's always going to be taken advantage of. There's always going to be exploitation. You can't have one without the other. And I feel like that's an oversimplification of it. And I've read the book Who Not How, And I thought that he put that kind of situation, that kind of relationship in a good way. Where basically in society we're encouraged to figure out how to do things, figure it out. Growing up, if you get help from someone else on a test or on a homework assignment, that's cheating and you get a failing grade. Figure it out. Figure out how to do this. People in business, for us, we're constantly encouraged to figure out, who do I need to meet? Who do I need to hire? Who do I need to pay to get this done? And so now, like for me, as a business owner, I'm bringing the business together. I'm going out and selling. I'm finding the clients. I'm getting everything to work. I'm connecting the clients, have the team hired. We're all working together. And they are my who, right? They're a who for me. So it's like, oh, how am I going to take care of this client? No, let me figure out, who do I need to get to take care of them? And so now you can say, oh, okay, I'm taking advantage of them. Or I'm providing them the opportunity for them to work in their chosen field. They have developed these skills and they just need an outlet, a client, a project to work on. And I'm providing that for them. So I am now their who. So are they taking advantage of me? Like, hey, this guy's bringing me that just sounds weird. That doesn't feel right to say, like, no, of course they're not taking advantage of me. And I just, have private conversations with them. And I think these are people that have been taken advantage of before, but they're not. We're helping each other. We're helping each other grow. And I think capitalism at its best is when different workers, different team members, owners, and laborers can work side by side to bring value to the marketplace and get compensated for it. And everyone feels like they're making progress with their goals in life. And I think it's easy. I think some business people, and I think this is where like capitalism is evil comes about, is people think like they're just trying to maximize the profit dollar. They're just serving the almighty dollar, and so they're going to try to find ways to steal wages from their employees and just like, deceive their clients and just do everything they can to maximize their buck. And you know what? I've seen that happen, but sometimes people just kind of suck. Sometimes there's just bad people. And for every one of them, I see a few dozen of business owners who are just trying to do the right thing. And they're not scheming and going back and forth on how do I screw my employee out of $1. They're figuring out, how do I get more clients? How do I keep payroll going? How do I keep the lights on? Because I have people counting on me. The amount of times I've seen a business owner say, I'm not getting a paycheck this month for 2 months, but I am making sure that my payroll is happening. That kind of person wouldn't do those things if they were a greedy, evil capitalist. So I feel like the greedy, evil capitalist is, while it does exist and we do see it in the extremes, I feel like using that as a blanket statement is just such a straw man kind of argument. It just doesn't hold up. It doesn't hold up in the real world. And I think it's one of those things where we can we got to keep that in mind, the apophenia. Where are the real patterns? Where do we need to have our guard up? And I think it's kind of ironic, but I think social media and it being so easy to see other people's stories and see it as such a fast and huge scale, it's really easy to fall prey to that, to apophenia specifically, and to group think. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. And I think the best way to work against it, at least I think, something that, I don't know, makes sense to me, works for me, is to stay focused on what is in my sphere. So yeah, I listen, I try to keep up with current events, what's happening in the news and all that, but what is happening locally, what's happening in my company, the people I deal with, my family, my friends, and how do I step up and exhibit the ideals that I believe in? Because I don't have the power and influence to make people outside of my sphere better or worse or care. And that's most of us. Who is in this immediate vicinity that we can actually have an influence on? So I just think it's good for all of us to just stop being so on edge and finding patterns everywhere out there. It's like, okay, I get it, stuff's happening. But where is there actual exploitation and harm happening here, right here, right in front of me? Because if we can all make our own little corners of the world better, if we can all stand up for things that tell our stories, stand up for the virtues we believe in our own little pockets, that's what people should be doing. That's how we change things. That's how we make a difference in the world. Share, and be comfortable with that. That you might only just change your little corner of the world. So I have no idea if my words will ever reach anyone, really. But I know I'm going to share and I'm going to put my content out there. I know that I'm going to be honest with what I believe. Create this content. Helps me kind of distill my thoughts, kind of understand myself better. Because there is always opportunities right around you to defend, stand up for, challenge, virtues and injustices, or any kind of event that's happening right in front of you. So let's, I know for me, I'm not going to get so caught up in what's happening around the world that I ignore what's happening right in front of me. I'm not going to get into a debate with someone on the other side of the world about, okay, what is capitalism? What is the role of capitalism? And when does it cross the line into something that is like evil? It's like, I don't know, man. What's the point? What's the point of arguing that when I'm just trying to take care of me and my people. I'm trying to take care of my clients, my team, my home. Not everything has to be this existential debate over who's right and who's wrong and what's the perfect way of doing this, because we're not going to figure it out. We're not going to get everyone to believe the same way. So can we just stop trying that? We're not going to get everyone on the same page. So let's stop being angry that everyone believes differently. Let's just stop. Who cares? It's not changing. People have been trying it probably since humanity was a thing. What, 300,000 years? Probably trying to get everyone to believe the exact same thing ever since humans were able to communicate. And no one's figured that out yet. So, what feels right to me is just to sit here and try to learn about business, share what I've learned. I feel like in a lot of ways, even though I'm 13 years into this, that I'm just kind of starting. It feels like every year or so, like something big happens for me, and I just like, oh man, okay, now I feel like I'm starting. Now I feel like I got something figured out, and yeah, the learning never stops. The learning, the lessons never stop. But you know what? Neither do the experiences. And that's how I see life. It's either an experience to enjoy, or it is a lesson to learn from. Between that and accepting that everyone believes different and they're always going to believe different, it really helps me let go of regrets and judgment. By letting go of my judgment for other people, it helps me let go of judgment for myself. And just have a more enjoyable present moment. And at the end of it, that's really all that matters. How's your present moment? How are you presently? How are you right now? Well, let me look at, is there anything else I need to get done? Okay, I'm gonna check in on a broken link issue. I've been going for nearly 50 minutes. I don't know how much of this recording I'm actually going to get, but we will see. We are learning, and maybe next time I will try a stream that goes in a lot of different directions. And who knows, maybe I'll try streaming from this all-day conference I'm doing tomorrow. Well, hopefully we got something out of this. And I'll try again next time. Tomorrow. Try again tomorrow.